Look at me, right here. Don't blink. Because what I'm about to tell you isn't a story. It's a warning. They hurt the purest soul alive. And now the entire universe wants blood. And you're standing at the epicenter of it. Do you feel that chill crawling up your spine? That's not fear, that's the shift. They thought kindness was weakness. They thought purity was naive. They thought light could be stabbed and it would stop shining. But you're not just light. You're a paradox, a saint with teeth, an angel with claws, the purest soul wearing a skin of unpredictability. They thought they could break you quietly. They thought they could bleed your goodness dry, wipe their hands clean, and walk away untouched. But purity isn't fragile, it's radioactive. And when they pierced it, they unleashed something they couldn't see coming, the cosmic recoil. Now every whisper they used to plot is echoing. Every secret they buried is rising. Every intention they hid is glowing like a flare in the night. You are not destroyed, you are amplified. Their cruelty became your catalyst. Their betrayal became your fuel. Their violence activated a sequence older than any religion, any empire, any bloodline. They thought they were taking from you. They were arming you. Listen to me. You're not just a survivor. You're the ghost in their files, the glitch in their timeline, the prophecy they laughed at but couldn't outrun. They don't even realize what's coming yet. They think you're gone. They think the story ended. But you're not gone. You're everywhere. You're in their sleepless nights, in their shifting shadows, in every moment of silence that suddenly feels like a courtroom. Because purity isn't weakness. It's a weapon they can't calibrate. They stabbed an angel and woke up a demon who still speaks with an angel's voice. That's what they don't understand about you. You're not two halves. You're both extremes, light and dark, grace and fury, saint and executioner. And when they forced you into pain, they didn't just shape you. They made you unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. You're not chasing revenge. You're becoming a law of physics, a ripple they can't outrun, a storm with no name and no mercy. They tried to erase you. They branded you. They left you for dead. But you're still here, breathing, smiling, watching. And that smile, it isn't forgiveness. It's the smile of someone who has already won because the universe itself is now your accomplice. They look over their shoulders now. They wonder who told. They wonder who's watching. They wonder why their luck is dying. It isn't luck. It's the bill. And the bill always comes due. You didn't have to lift a finger. You didn't have to scream. You just had to endure. And endurance turned you into a living verdict. This is why they can't stop thinking about you. This is why their eyes dart in crowded rooms. This is why their dreams smell like smoke. Because the purest soul they tried to crucify has become the executioner of their future. You. Now listen carefully. Don't soften. Don't shrink. Don't hide your power under their shame. This is your ascension through pain. This is the metamorphosis of purity into prophecy. This is what it looks like when an angel doesn't fall, but rises with claws. They wanted blood. The universe is collecting, and you don't even have to watch. Just walk. Slow, steady, silent, because silence is surveillance, because patience is a blade, because you're no longer a target. You're the storm walking upright. You're not the victim of their story. You're the author of the sequel they'll never survive. And the entire universe, it's standing behind you now, breathing down their necks, demanding payment, demanding blood, and you just keep walking with that calm, cold smile. Because they'll never understand how a soul that pure became this powerful. And by the time they do, it will be far too late. Ah, Now the air around them feels heavier, doesn't it? Every room they enter turns colder. Every mirror seems to hesitate before reflecting back. Because somewhere deep in their nervous system, deeper than thought, deeper than guilt, they know they touched something they should have worshipped. And now the universe is tightening the perimeter. They didn't just hurt you, they committed a cosmic crime. And the crime wasn't in breaking your spirit, it was in misjudging it. You weren't some fragile thing. You were a sacred threshold, a point in time, a divine checkpoint. And the moment they crossed it, they triggered the motion sensors of heaven itself. You see, the universe doesn't rage over every injustice. It doesn't cry at every betrayal. But when someone dares to bleed the pure, it doesn't just retaliate. It recalibrates. The stars shift, the winds change, and the bloodlines that sowed corruption begin to dissolve in slow motion. They thought they hurt a person. What they hurt was a signal, a vibration older than time, a piece of God walking in skin. And now everything they touch turns to static, because the frequency of their soul has been revoked. They're not just being punished, they're being erased, not by your hand, by the very laws of balance they spit on. Let me paint you a picture. Right now, somewhere in the silence, a divine tribunal is assembling. No courtrooms, no gavels, just frequencies, just light and memory. They're reviewing everything, not just what they did, but why they did it. What it meant, who was watching. Spoiler alert, everyone was. Ancestors, angels, time itself. You weren't alone in your silence. You were under divine surveillance. And now that the footage has been unsealed, the verdict is simple. They hurt the purest soul alive. And now the entire universe wants blood. They'll try to run. They'll rebrand. They'll claim healing. They'll post quotes about forgiveness. They'll light candles and speak softly, but deep inside, they know. They're not being haunted by you. They're being hunted by what touched you. There's no stage left to fake their empathy, no audience left to clap, because the show's over. And what's left? A reckoning. One written in ancestral ink, sealed in spiritual contracts they didn't even know existed. You want to know the part that breaks them? You didn't retaliate. You didn't leak the screenshots. You didn't expose them. You simply became the consequence. And consequences don't shout. They arrive, they fold reality inward. They dismantle bloodlines quietly. Because this isn't revenge. This is spiritual physics. Let's go deeper. There are files, celestial files, labeled with your name, your heartbreaks, your restraint, your silence, your loyalty. And across each page is a simple phrase burned in gold: do not touch. They saw it, they ignored it, and now the light they mocked is burning through their lineage like a sentence passed down through DNA. That pain they feel now, it's not karma, it's a correction, an ancient realignment. They didn't just fail the test, they tried to destroy the examiner. And you're not even watching the fallout. You've evolved beyond observation. You've left the courtroom, left the battlefield, and stepped into the command towers of your own fate. You're no longer the defendant. You're no longer the victim. You're not even the witness. You're the activation point. Every movement you make now sends signals through realms. Every thought becomes law. Every breath a contract. You are not a soul anymore. You're a force. That's why they're terrified. Because you didn't just survive. You didn't just ascend. You didn't just evolve. You changed the rules. You're not playing on their board. You're not speaking their language. You are the cipher they'll never decode. And now They're stuck in a loop of collapsing patterns, while the very energy they tried to silence is now echoing back with thunder. They touched purity. They mocked it, used it, betrayed it, and they thought that was the end. But purity isn't a finish line, it's a checkpoint. And every soul that crossed it with foul intent is now being scanned by something they can't name, can't pray, can't run from. And what's the price? Blood, not by your hand, by the gravity of their own actions. You didn't become a weapon. You became a mirror that never blinks, a reflection they can't delete, a judgment they can't dodge. So walk forward, not in rage, not in vengeance. Walk like the storm that forgave, but never forgot. Let the universe continue what you started, because what they hurt wasn't a person, it was a prophecy. And now that prophecy is walking, breathing, smiling, as they unravel into their own confession. Oh, now the vault's opening, and they're praying the footage inside never surfaces. Too late, because this isn't just karma, this is a cosmic subpoena. And the timestamp? It matches exactly when they thought they got away with it. They hurt the purest soul alive. They didn't just cross a line. They punctured a divine firewall. And now, every digital trace, every whispered joke, every concealed strategy, every twisted smile behind a closed door is playing back like a leaked surveillance feed from heaven's war room. Footage doesn't match. Stories don't align. Faces flicker when the light shifts. The courtroom isn't asking anymore. It's recording. You didn't cry for justice. You became it, not by force, but by gravitational inevitability. Because when they wounded you, they didn't hit flesh. They triggered protocol, something ancient, encrypted in spiritual code. Protocol Omega, soul target breach, return consequence to bloodline, override all deception, activate universal witness. And now it's in motion, slow, silent, surgical. They wanted power so bad, they tried to siphon it from purity. But purity doesn't leak. It backfires. It waits until it's injected deep enough. Then it implodes their entire nervous system. They can't breathe in their own homes. Now the Watchers are here. Not humans, not eyes, presences. They move like static in mirrors. They live in the pauses between questions. They're not here to observe. They're here to execute pattern collapse. And their orders are simple. Reverse everything stolen from the innocent. Render payment in spiritual equity. Let the punishment match the memory. Do you know what that means? It means the exact pain you endured, the confusion, the exile, the humiliation, the gaslight, the betrayal, is now being replayed to them, frame by frame, but in reverse. And it's not just happening to them, it's happening through them, to their relationships, their reputations, their projects, their dreams. Every thread they built while stabbing you in silence is now being tugged by invisible hands. This is why their lives feel like static now. Why nothing clicks, why trust avoids them, why people withdraw, even when they do nothing wrong, because the universe is protecting others from their touch, because their frequency has been flagged as hostile. They aren't being punished, they're being isolated, quarantined, marked, not by you, by the very purity they tried to drain. And what about you? You're rising. But not in the way they understand, not loud, not flashy. You're becoming an anomaly in the code, a walking contradiction, too pure to corrupt, too dark to control, too evolved to explain. You're the version of justice that doesn't knock. It just walks in and sits at the table they thought was theirs. You're not angry, you're not broken, you're not even focused on them. And that's what terrifies them most. They're not the center of the storm anymore. You are, and you're calm. Too calm, because you know The blood they spilled became the ink of your elevation. And the universe? It never forgets its scribes. Let's go deeper still. There's a prophecy file, one they don't know they triggered. It was sealed until the day they betrayed the wrong soul. And the moment their fingerprints hit your name with cruelty, the seal cracked. And every generation before you whispered, now. They tried to hurt the innocent? Fine. Let their names be ripped from the archives of mercy. Let their blessings reverse. Let their lineage cough up every debt they tried to bury inside you. They didn't just offend you. They offended everything that protects you. You were never alone. You were just on mute while the watchers assembled, while the courtroom of the unseen prepared its entrance, while justice sharpened its teeth in shadows. And now, the shadows are walking, and they look like you. This isn't about revenge. It's about restoration. What was taken from you, energy, love, trust, clarity, presence, is returning with interest. And what was stolen? It's being ripped from their hands in their sleep. One opportunity at a time, one friendship at a time, one heartbeat at a time, until they understand purity is protected by violence they will never see coming. So let them laugh less now. Let their circles shrink. Let their support collapse in eerie silence. Because the divine doesn't retaliate, it reclaims. And when the universe reclaims, it doesn't ask permission. It just walks in and takes everything back. You don't have to speak. You don't have to fight. You just have to exist. And let the gravitational field of your survival pull the final thread from their web of lies. They wanted blood. Now the entire universe has drawn a line through their names with yours still shining underneath. Unbroken, unapologetic, unerasable, tick-tock. The silence is louder now, isn't it? They can feel it, even if they pretend they can't. They feel it when the room suddenly chills, when no one's speaking but everything feels watched. They feel it when the lights flicker, when the air won't move, when every message they send feels like it echoes before it lands. Because the courtroom isn't physical anymore. It's metaphysical, it's active, and it's tracking them. They thought they were done. They thought the damage was permanent. That your silence was submission. That your absence was defeat. But what they didn't know is that the moment they pierced your purity, they didn't just cause pain. They activated a living archive. You were never a victim. You were a vessel. And when they tried to spill you, they cracked open a prophecy that was never meant for their eyes. Now they're choking on the ink of what they wrote into your story. They see you now, not just physically. They see your name in places you never spoke. They hear your laugh in dreams they can't explain. They feel your calm in rooms they walk into, trembling. They tried to delete a soul that was mirrored in the very DNA of the planet. And now, the planet is mirroring them back. Not the face they perform, but the one they thought no one could see. The predator, the coward, the liar, the betrayer. It's all unraveling, and it's not public. It's worse. It's spiritual. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to scream, "I was the good one," because everything in creation already filed the report. The winds remember, the walls remember, your own blood remembers. And now, they remember too. They remember exactly what they did. But this time, they're remembering from your perspective. Not because you said anything, but because divine reversal doesn't ask your permission to begin. It just activates. And when it does, every illusion collapses. They thought your goodness made you soft, that your love made you gullible, that your loyalty was a leash they could choke you with. But your purity, it wasn't softness, it was stability. You weren't passive, You were holding back storms with your smile, and the moment they turned on you, the restraints fell. And now the storm, it's learning to walk in your form, in your frequency, in your name. Because they didn't just break your trust, they fractured a sacred bond. And when sacred bonds break, the entire grid shifts, balance reconfigures. What once protected them now hunts them. What once hid them now exposes them. What once forgave them now collects. The watchers are no longer watching. They've moved to execution mode. The data has been verified. The betrayal confirmed. The soul's light was real. The damage was intentional. Now the system is returning to balance, one thread at a time. And it doesn't need an army. It doesn't need headlines. It just needs time. Because time belongs to the innocent. And right now, time is on your side. You don't see the war because you're not in it anymore. You're above it. You're already through the veil. You're already glowing from the pain they tried to bury you under. You didn't survive. You resurrected, and resurrection is more terrifying than revenge could ever be. Because they don't get to hurt you again. They only get to watch as everything they gained from your pain turns to dust in their hands. And that smile on your face, it's not smugness, it's not ego, it's recognition. You recognize what they don't. That purity isn't weakness, it's cosmic leverage, it's a key, and they stole the key, not knowing it unlocked their own undoing. Now the vault's wide open, and it's swallowing them whole, silently, effortlessly, poetically. You are no longer a person, you're a verdict. You're a timestamp in someone else's downfall. You're the hidden clause in the contract of consequence. And now, they don't sleep because they don't know which part of their life will collapse next. They can't trust smiles. They can't relax in success. They can't stand silence. Because in every shadow, they hear your name being spoken by something older than pain. By something divine. By something they can't apologize to. So what now? Now, you rise, not in rage, but in reclamation. Reclaim your name. Reclaim your presence. Reclaim your clarity. Reclaim your light that turned into lightning. Because the moment you do, the last seal breaks, and their punishment won't be screams. It'll be watching you thrive in a realm they'll never be invited to again. They didn't just hurt you. They betrayed heaven's favorite. They punctured light and called it strategy. They mocked a soul wrapped in sacred protection. And now, the entire universe is dripping red, but not your red, theirs. Psst. You feel that? That eerie silence right before the explosion. Yeah, that's them realizing you were never the target. You were the trigger. Because tonight, we're not just talking revenge. We're talking about a trap so perfectly set it swallowed its own architects. Let's begin, shall we? They thought they could erase you, delete your name, your legacy, your influence, like a bad line of code. But they underestimated one fatal flaw in their plan. You weren't the villain in their little group chat fantasy. You were the bug in their system. See, they formed in silence. Shadow meetings, encrypted messages, fake smiles laced with cyanide. Their entire operation wasn't built to win. It was built to hide their weakness behind your downfall. But here's what they didn't understand. You don't fall. You collapse into data, and every bite of your destruction becomes a virus in their machine. While they were scheming behind locked doors, you were building immunity to betrayal. Every lie they told sharpened your teeth. Every fake friend added another fingerprint to your forensic awakening. They didn't just fail to erase you. They accidentally immortalized you. Because when they buried your name, they triggered the very trap they designed. Their plan wasn't flawed, it was perfect. But they forgot one thing. The blueprint was sentient. You were never the prey. You were the program watching the hunters, waiting for the right moment to self-execute. They thought silence meant submission. But no, silence was surveillance, observation, calibration. They didn't know the moment they whispered about you. A new version of you was compiling, colder, cleaner, more surgical. The kind of version that doesn't react, it responds with evidence, with precision, with psychological obliteration. You didn't just survive their trap. You mapped it, mirrored it, and lured them back into their own blueprint. Now they're standing on a floor made of glass, and every word, every move, every secret they thought was buried is echoing beneath their feet. That's the thing about silence. It's the loudest when it breaks. And oh boy, it's shattering now. They thought they were deleting you, but they were triggering your activation sequence. Because pain doesn't destroy you. It updates you. And betrayal doesn't blind you. It fine-tunes your scope. Every conversation you weren't invited to. You memorized their pattern, every whisper they thought was private. You let it echo a little longer, so they'd think you were gone. But you weren't gone. You were just watching the excavation of their own coffin. Funny, isn't it? They built the trap. They baited it with your name. But they forgot. Traps are circular. They always close in every direction. The moment they believed they won, that moment right there was the detonation code. You didn't need to fight. You needed to wait. Because karma doesn't rush. It documents. And every file they thought they deleted, yeah, they're printed now, stamped, dated, public. Their group is no longer secret. It's evidence. You see, the most dangerous weapon isn't a scream. It's a whisper that survives the fire. And you're not just a survivor. You're a ghost with fingerprints. An untraceable specter that left every room marked. They can't explain it. They won't explain it. But the collapse has begun, not with a bang, with a mirror. One that's showing them every version of themselves they tried to blame on you. They see it now, clearer than ever. They weren't fighting a person. They were poking a prophecy. So now they sit there, trying to re-strategize in real time. But you already own the room, the lighting, the narrative. You control the angles. You control the footage. And the most chilling part? You never said a word. You just existed, precisely where they swore you wouldn't. Their group? It's not secret anymore. It's a case file. A psychological study in how jealousy always eats its own. And you're not a victim. You're not even a survivor. You're a living glitch that turned a trap into a testimony. A saint with a scarred halo. A demon with receipts. A weapon forged in silence and dipped in divine recoil. So go ahead. Let them scramble. Let them panic. Let them reread every text and wonder, when did the plan flip? Because here's the truth. The plan never flipped. You were the plan from the beginning. They thought they buried you, but really, they just gave you the perfect view of their collapse. One layer at a time, one whisper too many, one mask too late. And now, they finally realize what you've been this entire time. The trigger, the trap, and the justice, all in one smile. So now they're sweating through silence. Because your existence is no longer a mystery. It's a malfunction they can't patch, a glitch they can't debug, a verdict they never saw coming. But it was already filed. You weren't erased. You were archived in silence. preserved like a classified file buried under 7 layers of clearance. And while they were celebrating your disappearance, the system was indexing your return. You see, this wasn't resurrection. This was declassification. They were so desperate to win the narrative, they forgot one fatal truth. You don't chase justice, you become it. And justice doesn't always knock. Sometimes it leaks. They thought their group chat was encrypted. They thought their strategy was airtight. But arrogance is the loudest snitch in the room, and betrayal has a smell. The kind that lingers on fingertips no matter how many times they wash. You didn't need to expose them. They were born pre-exposed. You just gave them a stage to implode on. And oh, how poetic that the very trap they crafted, with their smug little smirks and snake oil strategies, ended up as evidence of their own insecurities. They weren't trying to erase you. They were trying to erase the mirror you held to their cowardice. But here's the part that's really cooking their neurons now. You predicted this. You knew the moment they conspired, they were laying bricks in their own mausoleum. Because you stopped playing checkers the moment you realized they were on a chessboard you designed. Every fake alliance counted, every staged compliment cataloged, every backhanded support disguised as sabotage, filed, time-stamped, ready for trial. And now, it's Exhibit A through Z, and you're not the defendant. You're the executioner wearing velvet gloves. Let's get psychological. They didn't hate you. They hated that you were unreplicable. You weren't part of their algorithm. You weren't a follower they could mold. You were a system update from a different dimension, a collision between prophecy and unpredictability, a storm written in divine syntax. They couldn't control it, so they tried to delete it. But what do you do when the thunder follows you? What do you do when the ghost doesn't haunt? It hunts. You're not their fear anymore. You're their karma in human form. They lit the fuse, thinking you'd burn, but you turned into a detonation sequence, and now the aftershock is echoing across every file they ever thought was buried. And oh, you want to talk about secrets? They had one. A little secret group, born in jealousy, raised in fear, fueled by insecurity. You were their obsession, their inside joke, their target practice. But what they didn't realize was that in trying to erase your name, they kept rewriting it in bold, capitalized, underlined headlines. They didn't erase you, they amplified you. Every denial was a marketing campaign. Every insult was a prelude to their own obituary. And now, they're scrambling through their memories, trying to remember which lie started the domino effect. They can't even find the beginning anymore, because the beginning wasn't you. It was the moment they tried to dim something they didn't understand. You weren't just unerasable. You were pre-written into the architecture of their failure. And now, here we are. You, still breathing, still watching, still untouched, while they're unraveling, slowly, publicly, beautifully. They're trying to shut it down now, trying to act innocent, trying to form new alliances. But baby, you've got the original blueprint. And more importantly, you've got the trap logs, every step, every slip, every panicked, delete that message. Too late. The system already scanned it. The archive already locked it in. The universe already pressed send. They didn't get hacked. They got haunted by the ghost of someone they thought was easy to bury. But here's the twist that's breaking their minds in real time. You never fought back. You never threw a punch. You never leaked a file. You never raised your voice. You just stood there, letting the laws of consequence execute the script they authored. Now their trap is on trial. Their group is under surveillance. Their laughs echoes in a courtroom, and you. You're not angry, you're not bitter, you're just documented, clean, untouchable, free, the kind of clean that makes them dirty by contrast. So let them hide, let them panic, let them relaunch under new names, with new masks and new tactics. It's too late, because you didn't just survive their trap, you rewired it to reward betrayal with collapse. And they walked in, smiling, confident, oblivious, and now the door is locked. And you're already outside, suit pressed, face calm, watching the dust settle on a group that built its own destruction with your name in every brick. You want to know what real power is? Real power is when you don't need revenge, because their own strategy executes itself while you sit back and sip the silence. Justice didn't knock. It walked in wearing your face. So congratulations. You didn't just win, you rewrote the entire algorithm, and now they're just data, buried in their own trap. Oh, now they're searching for the undo button, aren't they? Panicking behind locked screens, holding secret meetings in even smaller rooms, trying to figure out how it all flipped without warning. But here's the punchline they never prepared for. There is no undo button. Not when the entire system was designed to auto-detonate once it detected betrayal. And guess what? You were the censor. Let me tell you something cold, something they're too scared to say out loud in their circle of liars. They didn't just lose, they got mirrored. Their entire strategy was a trap designed for you. But laced with their own fingerprints, every layer of deception they constructed was actually a confession they didn't know they were writing. And now that mirror is up, held steady by divine jurisdiction and lit by the fire of every injustice they thought would stay in the dark. They're trying to scrub the messages now, rewriting files, pretending the plan was never real. But here's the curse they can't escape. The trap remembered, even when they forgot. Because this wasn't just about erasing you, it was about preserving themselves. And that's where they made the fatal mistake. They thought if they dimmed your light, no one would notice their rot. But you didn't die. You transformed, you went ghost mode, started showing up in their dreams, their failures, their reflections. You became the entity they can't explain, the glitch that keeps crashing every version of their next move. They thought you were weak because you walked away, but you weren't walking away. You were walking up. And the altitude? It made their egos suffocate. Now they're backpedaling. Oh, it was a misunderstanding. Oh, it wasn't personal. Oh, we were trying to help. No, you were targeted, surrounded, marked. And you didn't just survive. You let the whole thing play out because you knew the best revenge is always time-stamped. And the timestamp is now. Return to sender, initiated, group collapse, footage verified, conspiracy stability, 0%. They were so desperate to erase your power, they never realized they were signing divine release papers. And those papers had their own built-in trigger clause. If target survives, collapse all participants. And now it's happening. Their names are unraveling, their reputations bleeding out in silence, their alliances breaking like bones in a pressure chamber. You didn't need to lift a finger. You just stood still long enough for the fire to find oxygen. That's how real power works. It doesn't retaliate, it reveals. Let me go deeper. You weren't just misunderstood. You were misclassified. They thought you were naive, emotional, disposable. A pawn with too much heart and not enough strategy. But while they were playing personality poker, you were decoding intention, tracking tone, watching body language like a human lie detector. You didn't react. You recorded. You documented, You let their shadows dig their own forensics. And when the day came, you didn't shout. You didn't expose them. You just flipped the mirror and let them witness their own corruption in 4K. No filter, no mercy, no forgiveness, just playback. You weren't out for blood. You were out for balance. But they took your patience as weakness. They thought, if we all agree they're the problem, no one will see the truth. But truth doesn't beg. It waits, it accumulates, and eventually it detonates, like now and now. Their systems are failing. Their group chat is dead. Their excuses sound like confessions under oath. Why? Because you didn't play their game. You rewrote the arena. And then you watched from above as they walked blindly into their own collapse algorithm. That's the beauty of divine timing. It doesn't rush, it records. And when it plays the footage back, you don't need to say a word. Because the evidence is their own reflection. You know what's driving them mad now. It's not just that you survived. It's that you're calm, poised, untouched. They can't find rage on your face, no bitterness in your voice, just awareness. The kind of awareness that terrifies cowards. Because deep down, they know. You still haven't used your full power yet. And that's what breaks them, because you're not here to win petty battles. You're here to end bloodlines of betrayal. You are the interrupt signal that breaks every generational curse they tried to recycle into your future. This wasn't about revenge. It was about reckoning. They buried you with assumptions, but you bloomed with receipts, and now they don't fear your anger, they fear your peace. Because real power doesn't scream, it smiles when the last trap closes on its own designer. The secret group that tried to erase you, they just became the headline of their own cautionary tale. And you became the fine print at the bottom of every betrayal contract that says, this will come back to kill you. And it did. Oh, now they're praying to gods they never believed in. Now they're lighting candles in rooms they used to mock you for sitting in. But you already know, this isn't about prayer. This is about repercussions. This is about what happens when a group of masked cowards tries to erase a storm, but forgets they're standing in a forest full of dry leaves. You didn't respond with rage. You responded like a law written in silence. And now that silence is echoing louder than any scream they've ever released. Let's bury them deeper. They thought they could curse your name in private. They thought they could move like shadows, cut you out of rooms, whisper your downfall into systems, and smile like saints in public. But the universe doesn't honor performance. It honors alignment. And the moment they chose distortion over truth, the trap began to hum. A low, slow frequency only the guilty can hear. Now they can't sleep. Now their dreams glitch. Now every conversation feels like it's being recorded. Because it is, not by you. By everything around them. You didn't set the trap. You became the trigger that activated the one they set for themselves. They gathered as a collective of envy. A secret society of the almost talented. The almost wise, the almost enough. And they told themselves, if we take you out, maybe we'll matter again. But that's the thing about you. You're not one person. You're a signal. You're a divine anomaly wrapped in skin. A walking contradiction too powerful to label. Too quiet to detect. Too dangerous to understand. They didn't attack a human. They challenged a cosmic correction. And now the correction is crawling back up their spines, like ice dipped in justice. Let's call it what it is. They didn't want you erased. They wanted you invisible, present but irrelevant, breathing but muted. But the moment they couldn't control your light, they chose to conspire in the dark. What they didn't know? You were raised in the dark, forged there. You were born in the depth they drown in. They mistook your silence as surrender, but it was just surveillance. And what you saw, everything. Now here comes the part that eats them alive. They saw you walk away, and they celebrated. They called it victory. They mistook your withdrawal for defeat. But you weren't retreating. You were recalibrating. You were entering phase 0. Let them think they won. Let them speak freely. Let them document their downfall with their own hands. You let them celebrate. Because you knew celebrations recorded in arrogance become exhibits in courtrooms of divine justice. And now that courtroom is open. Gavel in hand, footage cued, names time-stamped. They never saw the audience watching, not the public, the watchers, the ancient ones, the gatekeepers of balance. You think this is over? No. This is exposure phase. This is when their own trap begins to breathe back onto them. Where every text they thought disappeared resurfaces like it's summoned by guilt itself. Where every member of that group, the backdoor strategists, the silent co-signers, the fake I didn't know players, are being named. You didn't snitch. You didn't leak. You didn't scream. The universe did it for you. Because this level of betrayal, it doesn't stay buried. It festers into prophecy. They're panicking now. Not because you came for them, but because you didn't. You didn't go on a smear campaign. You didn't drop names. You didn't call them out on social feeds. You let time do it. You let patterns do it. You let divine intelligence run its course. And now, they're being dismantled by their own ripple effects. The very thing they tried to do to you, it's now being studied as a case of spiritual self-destruction. And while they scramble for control, while they beg old contacts, create new alliances, and write new lies wrapped in repentance, you're not even watching. You're gliding. You're becoming what they fear most, a version of yourself so evolved. You don't even flinch at their apology, because you know what it means when they say, it wasn't personal. It means it was deadly personal, but they lost the battle, not against you, but against the mirror you held up, a mirror that doesn't break when they scream at it. Here's what breaks them most. You never raised your voice, never threw a punch, never snapped. You simply existed, and that was enough to trigger a spiritual landslide beneath a network of lies. That's power. And it wasn't borrowed, it wasn't taught, it wasn't given, it was written into your soul before they even formed their little secret group. And now, the group is no longer secret. It's a warning label. Beware of the ones who move against balance. They don't just lose, they get buried by the code they tried to corrupt. You are not a person. You are a judgment rendered in slow motion, a download of justice packaged in skin and unpredictability, a phenomenon they cannot explain. Because you were never meant to be understood. You were meant to be witnessed. And now, their whole trap isn't just exposed. It's documented in high-definition divine clarity.